Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavat Seva. Today we are very happy to have the association of His Grace Anirudha Seva Prabhuji. He will be sharing Bhagavad Gita from 4th canto. 28 chapter verses are from 38 and 39. The chapter's title is Anjana becomes a woman in the next life. Hare Krishna Guruji, once again, thank you and we welcome you.
Yes,
Please
Prabhu.
start. Guruji. Please
Yeah.
start.
Hare Krishna. Start with a small kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Jaya Radha Sama Sundar Radha Jaya Radha Muridhara Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Jaya Radha Ramana Radhe Jai Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jai Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita. Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Pancha Tattva, Jaya Pancha Tattva, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jula Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jam Nishpat Brahms Pratikata, Stotra Sudasmasti. सभा चरण भक्ति श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। इस्कॉन सम सब का श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति श्री प्रभुपाद महाराज की जय। यमष्पाद ब्रह्म सुप्रतिका स्तोत्र सदा श्री जन भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। अनंत कोटि आचार्य वृंद की जय। नवाचार्य शिलादास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ राधा कुंशाम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी द्वारका धाम की जय। गंगे में यमुना माई की जय। तुलसीदेव भक्ति देव की जय। समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेट बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled deities, all glories to assembled deities, all glories to assembled deities, all glories to all glories Shri Guru Shri Gauranga Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, I welcome all the devotees for today's Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So we are in the 4th canto, then 28th chapter, and then 38 and 39 text we'll take today. Before I start the class, we'll make a small prayer. Om Agnana Timrandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragana Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Saudhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpataruvisha Kripa Sindhu Bhyocha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiret Ashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Krishna. This is a shloka 38. Tapasa Vidyaya Pakva Kashayo Niyamair Yamai Yuje Brahmani Atmanam Vijita Shanila Shayaha Tapasa Vidyaya Pakva Kashayo Niyamair Yamai Yuje Brahmani Atmanam Vijita Shanila Shayaha Tapasa Vidyaya Pakva Kashayo Niyamair Yamai Yuje Brahmani Atmanam Vijita Shayaha Vijita Shayaha. Word by word meaning. Tapasa by austerity, Vidyaya by education, Pakva burned up, Kashayaha all dirty things, Niyamaihi by regulative principles, Yamaihi by self-control, Yuj he fixed, Brahmani in spiritual realization, Atmanam, his self, Vijita, completely controlled, Aksha, senses, Anila, life, Ashaya, consciousness. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By worshipping, executing austerities, and following the regulative principles, King Malayadvaja conquered his senses, his life, and his consciousness. Thus, he fixed everything on the center point of the Supreme Brahman, Krishna. Purport. Whenever the word Brahman appears, the impersonalists take this to mean the impersonal effulgence, the Brahmajyoti. Actually, however, Brahman, the Supreme Brahman, is Krishna, Vasudeva, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Vasudeva extends everywhere as the impersonal Brahman. One cannot fix one's mind upon an impersonal something. Bhagavad Gita 12.5 therefore says, Klesho adhikataras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. Consequently, when it is said herein that King Malayadvaja fixed his mind on Brahman, Brahman means the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Text 39. Aste stanur ivaikatra divyam varsha shatam stiraha Vasudeve bhagavati nanyad vedodvahan ratim. Aste stanur ivaikatra divyam varsha shatam stiraha Vasudeve bhagavati nanyad vedodvahan ratim. Aste stanur ivaikatra divyam varsha shatam stiraha Vasudeve bhagavati nanya vedodvahan ratim. Word meaning. Aste remains, stanuhu immovable, iva like, ekatra in one place, divyam of the demigods, varsha years, shatam 100, stiraha steady, Vasudeve unto Lord Krishna, Bhagavati the Supreme Personality of Godhead, na not, anyat nothing, anything else, Veda did know, udvahan possessing, ratim attraction. Translation purport Srila Prabhupada. In this way, he stayed immovable in one place for 100 years by the calculation of demigods. After this time, he developed pure devotional attraction for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and remained fixed in that position. Purport. Bahunam janmanamante gnanaman mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is everything. And one who knows this is the greatest of all transcendentalists. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that one realizes this after many, many births. This is also confirmed in this verse with the words Divyam Varsham Shatam, 100 years according to the calculation of the demigods. According to the calculations of demigods, 1 day, 12 hours is equal to 6 months on earth. 100 years of the demigods would equal 36,000 years, earthly years. Thus, King Malayadvaja executed austerities and penances for 36,000 years. After this time, he became fixed in devotional service of the Lord. To live on earth for so many years, one has to take birth many times. This confirms the conclusion of Krishna. To come to the conclusion of Krishna consciousness and remain fixed in the realization that Krishna is everything, as well as render service unto Krishna, are characteristics of the perfectional stage. As said in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22.62, Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Kritahaya. When one comes to the conclusion that Krishna is everything, by worshipping or by rendering devotional service to Krishna, one actually becomes perfect in all respects. Not only must one come to the conclusion that Krishna is everything, but he must remain fixed in this realization. This is the highest perfection of life, and it is this perfection that King Malayadvaja attained at the end. Hare Krishna. Om Agnan Timirandasya Jnananjana Shakshan Miltavena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we are in this this chapter where Puranjana becomes a woman in his next life. So as we understand that Puranjana is actually the allegorical symbolic representation in this story, which is referred to the soul, the Jivatma. So this soul is undergoing the journey, and in this journey, so he has come to this stage where with the attack of the Kalakanya, basically the time, the age, the aging process, and then Prajvara, all the diseases, and then of course by the attack with the Yavanas and Gandharvas, where they are actually referred to the the senses, the uncontrollable senses, which are more starting from the kama, the lusty desires. So with this, the moment the lusty desires enters into a person, then immediately it gets captured, it gets captivated. The whole mind, body, intelligence, everything gets captivated. So kama, esha, krodha, esha, rajoguna samudbhava. So it's all coming from the mode of passion. So the more one is exposed to the mode of passion, then he gets easily captivated by the lusty desires. And then once the kama envelops, then the next thing is that he want to attain that the desired object, and then he starts trying to please his senses. The more he tries to please his senses, it will be a very temporary affair, and then he actually gets a very frustrating experience. So the moment he is not able, he always wants to enjoy, but it's not available so easily, and the happiness is not so easily available. It's a very temporary phase. And the moment he starts realizing that he's not enjoying, then he will get krodha, kama, krodha will develop. So then when the anger comes, then it's actually he'll get more bewildered. He gets more driven away from the path. And the more the anger develops, he goes into mode of ignorance and very destructive mode. And then he starts doing certain activities which are against the rules of the game or rules of the law. So like that, he encounters many difficulties, but still he goes on, and then he tries, because he always is in a mood to enjoy. Kama, krodha, lobha. And now comes the lobha. So how the acharyas have given these 6 shadvargas, arishta vargas, arishta shadvargas, the 6 vices, which is starting from the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So these are the 6 enemies of man, basically the characteristics or traits which a man can develop, and how he gets actually captivated by this, and then how it leads to his own destruction. So moment he becomes angry, and then he uses all kinds of devices in order to enjoy that object and be happy. But then he fails in many occasions, and then because the Maya is so strong and it is very deceptive, that he will fail, and he gets angry. Kama, krodha, lobha. And then if suppose he sees, because this desire is there with everyone, so there is a whole lot of people, a lot of his neighbors who are again in the same process, and then they are also aspiring for the same, and then they start acquiring. So moment they start acquiring something, if suppose somebody has a big car, a latest model, then even he wants to have the desire. So he start getting the desire, and then he want to acquire it. So by hook or crook, he want to achieve it. So he goes into the various greedy means of trying to achieve it. So he probably goes into some illegal, unlawful methods, and then because the greed is always there, so he by hook or crook he want to achieve it. Kama, krodha. So greed is enveloped, and then is completely behind that object. Then what happens is kama, krodha, lobha, moha. So again the attachment is there. So when he starts getting into this attachment mode, he forgets everything in the world, because his only objective, his only goal is to achieve that, acquire it, enjoy it. And then not only that he has to enjoy, but he also gets the feeling that only he should enjoy. Others should not enjoy. Lobha, Moha, Mada. The Mada will come when he is actually in the top stage of the pride. He's completely in a very ahankara, with a lot of false pride, false ego, that he will be completely displaying his opulence or whatever is his achieved object, that he is enjoying, and then he's flaunting it and he's showing it off to so many people, that he will be completely in that mode. And then he is in the stage of having so much of pride. The pride is the one which is actually the false pride. Then he becomes very arrogant. The moment he becomes arrogant, nothing will come stop in his way. Always he's either criticizing someone, or he's making fun of someone, or misbehaving with someone. So all these things develop. So he becomes very arrogant and abusive. And then finally, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And then if suppose somebody else gets the same kind of an object, or something better than that, a better model or a better featured vehicle or something like that, then he completely becomes envious. So this envious is actually the cause of all the downfall, because in that envious situation, he doesn't care to do any kinds of harmful things, or taking the law in his own hands, and then he completely becomes mad. He completely in a delusionary mood, and he can destroy anything which is not up to his liking, because he is having that highest form of the envy, highest form of the vice, which is actually the envy. And this envy will cause his downfall, and then he will completely go mad. So that's why Bhagavad Gita also says in that second chapter, Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsan, Sangat Teshu Pajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kamat Bhavati Krodha, Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha, Sammohat Smriti Vibraha, Smriti Vibraha Bhavati Vinashya. So then finally, so this is Kama, this is basically Dhyayat, they're contemplating the Vishaya. Once he starts contemplating, then he gets the desire to attach, to acquire, to associate. So the moment he gets this attachment, he starts going for it, and somehow it's at any cost we want to have this object or enjoyment that should be there. And once the sangha is established, the attachment is there, it develops into kama, as we discussed. That the moment the kama comes, and then if he starts enjoying it, fine. But if he starts getting a small defect, or less enjoyment, he'll become anger. Oh my God, I'm trying so much, I'm desired so much, and I'm endeavoring so much, but I'm not able to enjoy. So there is something wrong. So he gets agitated, he gets angry, and then he starts being in a. So the moment anger comes, Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha. Then this Sammoha is actually the illusion. He completely gets illusion. Why this is happening? Why I'm not getting the desired happiness? Something like that. And then it develops into Smriti Vibhramaha. So that is the bewilderment, or it's a loss of intelligence. So in that stage, anything can happen. Shruti Brahmshad Buddhi Nasha. So if that Shruti also is destroyed, then he will lose his intelligence, because intelligence is the most powerful sense organ, the sense ability, that which can distinguish what is good and what is bad, and then it actually gives the semblance of hope for individual. And but even if the individual Shruti Buddhinasha also happens, Shruti Brahmsat Buddhinasho, then Buddhinashat Pranashati. If intelligence lost, then everything is lost. We will again fall into the material pool. So like this, the chain of reactions goes. There is never ending. So there are so many instances where we find that people get into this mode, and each of these phases, and completely get bewildered, and they will lose, especially the people who are in that demoniac mentality, or who are in that rajasic mode, will always fall in this category, and they will suffer. They will suffer. I mean, it may cause their own downfall, and ultimately their own death. So now in this, we have so many examples of how Hiranyakashipu, how Kamsa, and how Duryodhana, how many of these Asuric mentality devotees, people who actually had their own downfall, and they finally succumbed. They suffered. So like this, there are so many instances, and for all this, for each one of them, Krishna and his devotees, they come and they will come and make their downfall. They enact so many leelas, that in which way that these demonic people come to their proper understanding, and they will really learn a lesson. So as we have seen in this shloka, there is a we are come to the stage of this Malayadhwaja, where the Pranjana has become the Vaidarbhi, the Vidarbha Raja's daughter, and then she's married to this Malayadhwaja. Now Malayadhwaja is actually a very pious personality, and he's a great devotee of the Lord, and how he performed so many austerities, and then he completely stuck to the path of bhakti. He was completely focused in his activities, in the devotional activities, and he developed that love for Godhead. So that's what these two shlokas are talking about. By worshipping, executing austerities, and following regulative principles, King Malayadhwaja conquered his senses, his life, and his consciousness. Thus, he fixed everything on the central point of the Supreme Brahman, Krishna. So he did that, and then in this way he stayed immovable in one place for 100 years by the calculation of the demigods. After this time, he developed pure devotional attraction for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and remained fixed in that position. So he developed what is important here is that he developed that pure devotional attraction, the real Krishna prema, that he got it. And this is very wonderfully described. The pure devotional service, how we have to execute, has been given by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So a series of shlokas tell what are the things that a devotee has to do, a sadhaka has to do, and what are the things that he needs to avoid, and how he can exchange the loving exchanges with the devotees, and by which he can take to the process, complete process. And the first shloka talks about basically what he has to do to control the urges of the senses. So once of the senses, mind, and the speech, all these things. So once he does that, then easily he can become even he can become a guru, and he can completely take control of the situation, and then he can have several disciples in this world. So that first shloka from the Upadeshamrita, sorry, not the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is actually Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction, which gives very clear dealings how we have to do. So Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jihva Vegam, Udaropasta Vegam, Etan Veganyo Vishayeta Dhiraha, Sa Sarvam Apimam Pritimsha Sishyat. So this is the quality. First is Vacho, that is the speech should be of very measured, very controlled speech, what is required and what is really helping for the devotee, that should be spoken, or something which is of morality should be spoken. Manasa, again, the mind should be under good command. It should not go here and there. It should be focused on on the path of bhakti, and the mode of goodness, and having a good mind is always a better platform. So there is one classic example of how this mind can influence a person, and how this mind can become very helpful. A good mind, a good thinking can become very helpful in the path of bhakti. So there is one king. He was very opulent, and he was spending a lot of money, Lakshmi, doing in a lot of havanas, yagnas, all these practices. So he was spending a lot, and because he was doing all the havanas and homas, and he was always pleasing the demigods and the Lord Krishna. So everything was subhiksha, in the sense that it was everything was prosperity. There was no famine, and the crops were growing, in time. So all these were happening. So and as things progressed, it became, everything was very peaceful, and people were very happy. And for some reason, he had to go to different places on for establishing some relationship with the other kingdoms and all that. So he was in that path, and then and in the meantime, it so happened that that there was no demand for an item. So what was that item? That item was the sandalwood. This sandalwood, there was this merchant in the city, and the same place where Raja was there. So this merchant before was getting good orders of the sandalwood, and this sandalwood was being consumed because the king used to order it, and he was making good profit. So this merchant was very happy. But because now Raja was a little more absorbed in his other princely duties, so he was not getting those orders, and so he started thinking that my business is getting affected. I'm not making much profit because Raja is not spending much time in the kingdom. So why? And one, it so happens that one day the king's procession is coming in front of his shop, and he's on a visit to a temple. So it passes on the way, and then this merchant immediately starts, as the king is approaching his shop, he starts thinking, oh, let this if this king dies, what a fortune it is for me, because if the king dies, then his cremation will happen, the burial will, the cremation will happen, and then the fire sacrifice, all that will happen. So a lot of used for his for his cremation. So I'll make good profit. So he just gets that thought in his mind that that king should die. And the moment this thought comes, the king, as he's passing by on his chariot, then he somewhat feels a very negative feeling. Something is affecting his consciousness. He gets a weird feeling that, oh, somebody maybe is not happy with my kingdom. Somebody is having some displeasure. I thought everyone was fine. I mean, nobody had any ill will against me, but something, I'm getting a feeling. So that telepathic message has gone to the king, and then he feels that there is a problem, and somebody is hatching, or there is some ill feeling is there. So then he just ignores that, and then he passes away. Then he comes to the kingdom, to his palace, and then after that he tells the minister that, see, I felt like this, that looks like there is some problem. There is somebody is maybe feeling bad about me, or are making some moves against me. So I'm just a little disturbed. I don't know what to do. So what do you think? He will ask the minister, his chief minister. And the chief minister is a very shrewd personality. He understands, oh, definitely there is an issue here. So he then takes a decision, and he understands, okay, that this could be the cause, or this could be the thing. And he knows that, okay, the place where this happened. And then he probably also has heard that there is something behind, when this feeling happened, that it's front of the merchant shop, sandalwood merchant shop. So he immediately gets an idea. He says, no problem, king. I will try to sort it out. I think there should be It's not be a big issue. I will try my level best. Then he will not tell anything to the king. He'll come back to the minister, to the shop merchant, and then when he comes with a very big gift, from the royal family. He somehow convinces the other treasurer that I have to give a gift to some very big shot. So please give me, and I have got the permission from the king, something like that he says, and then he brings it, and he brings a nice gem with a ring, the golden ring. So he comes and then gifts it to the merchant and says that, see, this is what king yesterday was passing by. So he probably thought that you're such a nice gentleman, and you're such a nice person. You're a big businessman, and you're helping the society. All those things, blah blah blah. He'll glorify him, and then he gifts that ring with that precious gem. So now completely the merchant is actually bewildered. My God, what is this? Yesterday I was hatching a plan. I was thinking in my mind that this king should die, and if he dies, then I will get good orders, and that way I'll make money. So much of will I had, but now today completely it is changed, and then this minister is coming, and then king. But how come then he gets a doubt? How come the king got this? Probably he got this my feelings. He has understood it or something like that. He gets apprehension, and then he's surprised totally. But still, anyway, the minister has come, and then the minister also is chalu, that he says that he is very smartly. He says that the king gave this gift, so it is actually coming from the gift. Now he actually meant bad feeling to the king, but then the king is reciprocating in a totally opposite way. He is actually showing his love to this merchant, and he is giving him the respect. So he kindly accepts it, and then he again he feels very gratitude, and then that's it. Now he's totally in a position he's not able to understand what is the cause, how it happened, and then he gets so much of doubts. So he just accepts it, and then he concludes with that, and then the minister also leaves the place. And after that, after the minister leaves, so he discusses with his wife, and the wife is also very intelligent. And then the wife tells, because she understood what is the psychology of this her husband, and what is the psychology of the minister, because the minister is the one who played the key role. So she also tries to be little more shrewder and smarter, and then she says that, see, this minister is the one who brought you. He is like an instrument from the hands of the king, and then he has made convert all your ill feeling into such a very nice relationship, establish a relationship. So you should also do something. So you please gift the best of the sandalwoods, make a murti, and then please gift it, so that aroma is there, capturing all his mind and heart, and that way you can also become a good devotee, and he will definitely reward your good gesture. He will definitely be happy with this good gesture. So like that, she gives a very nice advice, and very, very thoughtful advice. And with that advice, the merchant immediately gets one fantastic sandalwood murti with a lot of fragrance and with the best of artistry, and he goes and gives to the king. And that's it. King also gets completely captivated by that, and then by this gesture, and then he is also very thankful. And seeing all this, the minister also finally understands, yes, whatever I did a small gesture. I contemplated in my mind, and everything happened for the good. And so he's also very happy that this merchant has done. So like this, the whole kingdom, the whole atmosphere completely gets surcharged with love and affection. So just a very classic example of how the mind can become a real game changer. What the mind was before, and how the mind can get converted. So this is a real lesson. So the more we think of good, nobler thoughts, the more good things the Lord will reciprocate, and that way we can convert the whole society. A lot of people's minds can be changed. So that is what Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj and all the entire parampara came here to deliver the goods, the real goods, the real wealth of Krishna consciousness. So like this, he has given this Upadeshamrita, Vachavegam, Manasavegam, Krodhavegam. So Krodha, that should be controlled, the anger. Then Jiva Vegam, so the tongue should be used only for taking Krishna Prasad, and the tongue should be used for glorifying the Lord, chanting the holy names. So this way, and then Udaropastha Vegam. So then the control of the Udaropastha means the belly near the organs near the belly, the genital organs, genitals, and these organs. This also should be controlled. So it's all in the straight line, like the moment what we take the food prasad and we chant good holy names, and if the mind, everything is in control, then whatever the belly gets digested, this also will be, since it is a Krishna prasad, so everything will be sanctified. The whole body will be sanctified, and you can control all your senses and desires easily. Then what happens? Sarvamapi Pritimsa Shishyat, Sarvamapi Mam. So everywhere, throughout the world, you can have Shishyas. You can have your disciples. So like this, the shloka starts, and there is wonderful instructions. So why I'm telling all this is because Malayadwaja actually demonstrated all this. He performed all this, and that is how he got the love of Godhead. So the follow the regulative principles and chant incessantly the glories of the holy name, do the glorification of the Lord. So by doing this, you can do wonders. And recently, actually, we actually observed Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's Tirobhav, or the disappearance day. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also was completely a Vaikuntha person. Prabhupada used to tell that my Guru Maharaj was a Vaikuntha person. Of course, they're all coming from the spiritual world. So like this, so he was glorifying him. And recently I also had an opportunity to go to visit that Bhakti Vinod Asan, which is in Ulta Dangi area. This Ulta Dangi area in Kolkata is the place where he had his Gaudiya Math ashram, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And then that is the fantastic house. I mean, it's about a few years back, it was completely dilapidated. It was completely broken down in a very disheveled stage. All the brick were seen. The entire plastering of the house was come out, and with lot of rain and all this dust had entered, and then it was almost like a collapsing building. And such was the situation, but somehow luckily, again by the arrangement of the Lord, that we could ISKCON could get hold of this house, and actually no one was living there. It was not inhabitable. It was such a dirty place with lot of dirt and the sediments and all this was there, muddy sediment, all that was there. And recently they got hold of it, ISKCON, and then they renovated it. I think about 2-3 years back, Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he had visited that place, and then he took a vow that he will develop it. And with the support of all disciples and the well-wishers, that has been completely renovated now. And it looks brand new, the whole building, the structure, it looks so nice. As we enter, we get that center hall, like in the olden days house, the square place used to be there, where it is an open house. And surrounding that area, we have all the rooms. And then you go to the upstairs. There are some rooms. And in the upstairs, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was staying. So all his paraphernalia which he used, like the books, the ink pot, the writing pen, and all the jugs, water jugs, and the slippers, the cot which was using, everything has been restored back. And it is such a nice transcendental place. And as you go to the next floor, to the terrace, and there you have a small area which is now nicely, it is put with the grills, and it is having a shade. And that is the place where actually Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was giving a lecture on that very, very fortunate day, when Prabhupada, along with his friend Narendra Prabhu, he forcefully took him that you please come. I'm going to take you to Gaudiya Math, where a very famous sannyasi, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, has come. I want you to listen to his lecture. So he forcefully took him. Prabhupada did not want to go because Prabhupada was at the time a little attached materially, and then he wanted to enter into the India's freedom struggle with Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, and all these things. So he was not he was reluctant, but by quirk of fate, he went. Krishna's mercy, he went there, and the moment he went into that terrace area, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati pointed out a finger on Prabhupada, and then looking at him, he immediately said that you have to preach to the, because you are a educated English educated person, and you can go and preach to the Western world, and this Krishna consciousness, this huge wealth, and like that he instructed. So that instruction in 1922 paved the way for after really 44 years later, ISKCON started in 1966, and then it is flourished all over the world. So like this was a great place that has been developed, and so this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was a very, very transcendental personality. So there is one incident, a real life incident, which I would like to share here, then probably conclude this katha. He was completely surcharged with this devotion, that even while he was as a student, he had all the knowledge of astrology, and then later on astronomy, the Surya Siddhanta, the Siddhanta, which is the book he wrote, which is all about the astrophysics or the astronomy as per the Indian Jyotish Shastra. So all these things were there. So he wrote, and then he was an expert in Sanskrit, in different languages, tarka, logic, all these things. So he had so much of opportunity to make money. Actually, he was being employed by the king of Manipur to teach this astronomy and all this Vedic knowledge. But he just finally refused, and then he came back saying that no, for me the most important thing is to spread Krishna consciousness. So he left all that, the wealth accumulating, that the wealth accumulating mentality, and then he came to Krishna consciousness, and then he established all the Gaudiya Math, all that we know, and he became very staunch follower of Krishna. He started preaching. So there was one instance where his disciple was from Guwahati, and he had given him the initiation, and that was in 93 or 94. And then as long as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was there, everything was fine. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj left on the 1st of January 1937. So after he left, in the next 2-3 years down the line, it was a little upheaval. And this initiated devotee, I forgot the name, I think Atma Ram Prabhu or something. So he actually fell down, in the sense that he could not practice KC, and he was not following the relative principles. He was not chanting also. So he completely became an ordinary worldly person. And then he fell down. And then in the 2-3 years time, he developed also some disease. And this was probably in 1940s or something. He developed a disease, and then he had to die. So now, when he was on the pyre, in the home that he was put on the sticks, where they make the kind of a stretcher kind of a thing, to be taken to the crematorium or the graveyard. So suddenly at that time he woke up, and then he came out of his senses, and then came running. Now people were they were bewildered. Actually, he's a dead man. How can he come? How can he come? They were totally. And then immediately he came running to the Gaudiya Math, which was there. I don't know exactly which area. There he came to Bhakti Daitwa Maharaj. Bhakti Daitwa Maharaj was again one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and so he came to him, and then he revealed everything. And so what he said was something very shocking, something very which we cannot believe. That kind of a very, very real incident which happened. This is a real incident which happened. So he said to Maharaj, saying that, of course, Maharaj later on told that he knew, he had also a premonition that this devotee is coming back, and he was prepared for it. So see how miracle of the Lord is. So he knew that. So what he said, this Prabhu, this devotee, was something very surprising and really eye opener for all of us. So actually, what has happened is that he told that I actually fell down. I actually had a disease, and then I saw these Yamadutas. They came and they took me, and they were taking me all over the places. I could see that I actually was feeling very thirsty. I wanted to drink water, but I saw that there was a lot of pus, blood, and all urine, so contaminated place, and I could not do anything. I was suffering, and they took me to the Yamalok, and I was traveling through all the tortures. And while I was going there, and then I reached this Yamalok, and then Yamaraj, they took me to Yamaraj, and they wanted to. And before that, the Chitragupta was there, and then I was told of all my vices and what all sins I had committed and what all punishment I have to face. And then after I started getting this, I was supposed to be taken to the Yamaraj. At that time, I saw Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. He came and then he started arguing with Yamaraj. And then he said that, no, you cannot take him to the hellish planet. You cannot award him the punishment because he is my disciple. I've given him the Diksha. He is my disciple. He might have committed some few offenses, few aparadh, but please, you have to forgive him. I'm going to take him back. I'm going to send him back again. I'm going to resurrect his jiva. I'm going to send him back to my disciple, to my Gaudiya Math, and he's going to meet his Maharaj, and he will again become a Krishna conscious personality. I will take the vow. I am taking this responsibility. Like that, he told. And then he convinced Yamaraj, and Yamaraj face to face with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And then, the Yamaraj also got convinced, and thinking such a great personality has, given me this instruction. So he allowed him to come back. And that is how he came back. And that is the time when he saw that, he was actually on the funeral pyre, but he woke up and then he ran. And then this he narrated to the Maharaj. And after a few years, and he completely was surrendered. He did his sadhana and under the directions of the Maharaj, and completely after that he went back to Godhead. And a very natural, very peaceful death he had, with all the devotees singing the glories of the Lord and kirtan, bhajans, and all that. And then he left the body. So like this is a very classic example of how our acharyas are so much concerned, so much taking care of our lives. I mean, we may not be doing that much of austerities. We may not be doing that much of bhakti. We're all, maybe, failing in our duties. But the parampara, the parampara and the acharyas are there, so much empowered that they can protect us. So this kind of a incident gives us a lot of confidence that we can also being part of this bhakti movement. We can definitely be taken care, just like a small baby is taken care by the parents. So we also can be taken care. And there are so many instances where the devotees have been protected by the Lord. And there was we have also heard about the story of Kanakadasa, how he was protected again by the Lord. He was actually when he was in Udupi, there was so much of upheaval, like the chaste brahmanas or the Vedic brahmanas, they were not allowing him to have the darshan of the Lord. But then he had the words of the Guru. The Guru Vyastirtha had told him that you visit Udupi and have darshan of the Lord. So actually, it is completely incompatible statement. No, Vyastirtha is coming from very, very holistic family. Is a great Guru sannyasi, and then he's telling Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa was already known that he was an outcast and he cannot enter into the Udupi temple. But the Guru is telling that you go have darshan of the Lord and come. How it is possible? Because Kanakadasa knew that it is not possible. I cannot have darshan. Who will allow me? The temple is such a sacred place. I'm such a outcast person. I'm not coming from a Brahminical family. I don't know. I will not be able to. He was telling, I'm not qualified. But the Guru said, no problem. You go. It will happen. So like that he told. And then he went, and then he was caught there. He was stopped there. And then he also, there is a Lord enacted one Leela where he was convicted of stealing the necklace of the Lord. The Udupi Krishna's necklace was stolen. So because it's a big story, to cut it short, I want to tell that this Kanakadasa was actually caught red-handed holding that necklace, and all the ministers and the temple authorities came and started, bashing him. They tied to the, to the poles, and they started bashing him. And that is the time when he actually prayed to the Lord, when both his hands were tied and legs were tied, and he was punished. Then the Lord showed that miracle. Then Kanakadasa composed one Kruti, and that Kruti is this. He actually sang out of his total, involvement, and with real bhakti, with real surrender. He prayed to the Lord, and this is the song, very, very famous composition. Bagilanu teredu seveyanu kodo hariye ಕೂಗಿದರು ಧ್ವನಿ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲವೇ ನರಹರಿಯೇ ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು. So he's telling you, open the doors and allow me the darshan, give me the darshan, and allow me to do my seva. Like that he's telling, ಬಾಗಿಲನ್ನು ತೆರೆದು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋ ಹರಿಯೇ ಕೂಗಿದರು ಧ್ವನಿ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲವೇ. So very, very remote, and he's actually in a very pathetic situation. And then in the further words he gives this sloka, this wording. ಪರಮ ಪದದೊಳಗೆ ವಿಷಧರನ ತಲ್ಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀ ಸಿರಿ ಸಹಿತ ಕ್ಷೀರವಾರಿಧಿಯೊಳು ಇರಲು ಕರಿರಾಜ ಕಷ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಿಮೂಲ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಲಾಕ್ಷಣ ಬಂದೊದಗಿದೆಯೋ ನರಹರಿಯೇ ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡೋ ಹರಿಯೇ ಕೂಗಿದರು ಧ್ವನಿ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲವೇ ನರಹರಿಯೇ ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು. ಕಡುಕೋಪದಿಂಖಳನು ಖಡ್ಗವನು ಕೈಲಿ ಪಿಡಿದು ನಿನ್ನೊಡೆಯ ಎಲ್ಲಿಹನೆಂದು ಕಂಬವನು ಝಡಿಯೇ ದೃಢಬಕುತಿಂ ಶಿಶುವು ಬಿಡದೆ ನಿನ್ನನು ಭಜಿಸೆ ಸಡಗರದಿ ಸ್ತಂಭದಿಂದೊಡಗಿದೆಯೋ ನರಹರಿಯೇ ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು. ಯಮಸುತನ ರಾಣಿಗೆ ಅಕ್ಷಯ ವಸನವನಿತ್ತೇ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಜಾಮಿಳನ ಪೊರೆದೆ ಸಮಯ ಭಕ್ತವತ್ಸಲ ನಿನಗೆ ಕಮಲಾಕ್ಷ ಕಾಗಿ ನೆಲೆಯಾದಿ ಕೇಶವನೆ ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು ಬಾಗಿಲನು ತೆರೆದು ಸೇವೆಯನು ಕೊಡೋ ಹರಿಯೇ. So he says this 2-3 times. He prays to the Lord, and immediately what happens? The Lord, Krishna, Udupi Krishna, which is installed by Madhvacharya, that about 800 years back, that Murti that turns from east, facing east to the west, and then the wall where he's standing behind the temple cracks open, and that's it. Now he has the darshan of the Lord. So the entire priestly community, everybody is bewildered that how this can happen, what a miracle. And then all of them who were against him were completely, they surrendered to him. They all become his disciples. So this is the amazing miracle of the Lord, how the Lord empowers the devotee to become his ardent fan or a devotee, he's become bhakta, and how the bhakta also performs that spiritual activity, and he evokes that emotions that the Lord is actually captivated. So So that's why in this song also he narrates that how Kariraja, Kariraja, this Gajendra, how he was protected by the Lord just by calling Adimula. And Kare Lakshana Bandhu, just within a second, Kare Lakshana, the moment you called, he came, he appeared, and then he saved you. So then you're actually staying in a Kshirabdi, so much of opulence. You have so much of enjoyment, opulences. What made you cause to come, leaving all that to save a elephant? Like that, he is making a statement. And then the second verse, he talks about Prahlad Maharaj, that he was so much in distress and so much of discomfort, and he was put to all sorts of punishment. But then you appeared when the Hiranyakashipu hit the pillar, you appeared there also and showed that you are everywhere. You are always there to protect the devotee. And then Yamasutana Rani, Akshayana Siddhe, that is to Yamaraja's wife, Draupadi, you came and appeared because she was in such a distress, in a very dilemma, that she is not able to feed Durvasa Muni and all the disciples. But you, from the Akshay Patra, with a small one particle of one grain of morsel of, you gave a huge feast to all the devotees. So Samayadali Ajamila, with the required time, in the nth moment of the death time, you came to Ajamila and then you saved him because he chanted your holy name. So Samaya Unte. Is there any time, that, you're not there, or you're not appearing, or you're not doing performance, your Leela, you are not showing your miracle? There is no time, all throughout you are, showing your, mercy and your potency, and that too to a Bhaktavatsala, and you're proving that yourself as a Bhaktavatsala. So unto you, I'm glorifying, like that. He composes this song, and then immediately this miracle happens. So like this, the Lord is so reciprocative. The more we do bhakti, the more we show our love to Him and do service attitude, He will reciprocate. So there's the summum bonum of all these scriptures. And Bhagavatam is teaching us by each and one of these examples, and Puranjana story and Malayadwaja. So all these are just classic examples, allegoric examples, but it is telling what exactly is our our path, and how the Guru Parampara is also protecting us, like the instance of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and his disciple. So from a person who has reached the hellish planet, and he was about to be punished and put into different punishments, he is brought back by the Guru and protected. So that's it. So this is Bhakti Yoga, the glorification of Bhakti Yoga, and how devotees can uninterruptedly do their sadhana. The more they do, the more the Lord will show His mercy. Hare Krishna. So with this, I'll end today's session. If there are any doubts, questions, realizations, they can share. I don't think there is any time for question. I have taken much time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Anirudha Seva Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for a wonderful class. You emphasized on the six defects that we have, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, and how it leads to downfall, and how one can engage themselves in devotional service to uplift. And also you narrated beautiful stories, and at the as the diamond on the crown, the Dasar Padagalu. Thank you, Prabhu. It was wonderful class. Thank you.
Hare Bol, all Guru Maharaj mercy, devotees mercy, Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Maybe we can take one question, Prabhu. I think devotees may.
Yeah. Or anything realization.
Hare Krishna, Anirudha Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Wonderful. This is a classic Anirudha Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranams. Thank
Hare
you for the class, Prabhu. Prabhu, Malayadwaja took 36,000 years of sadhana to get devotional service, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So it's like that for everyone, or we need the mercy of the Lord to get devotion
Yeah,
nature.
definitely it is the mercy of the Lord. I mean, it's the supreme will of the Lord that He can do anything, for us. Like I also discussed about this pastime of the devotee, disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. He was also practicing Bhakti Yoga, all that was there. But then
Yes,
still he was taken to Emerald, and then he got relieved. Right, like that. So it's actually a question of Lord putting us into so many tests and so many examinations. That's all. So it all depends on the mood of that and then the steadfastness of the devotee. How he is able to cope up with all these things. That's all. He's putting us into trouble. Kunti Maharani also was praying always that that I let only difficulties come to me. Why? Because then only I can remember Lord. If I'm not in difficult position, how will I remember? How will I take shelter of the Lord? I will be enjoying in my mood. I will not, care. I may do some, bhakti for katachara or for just for the namesake, but I may not be really serious. So that is how this is the whole concept of this Krishna conscious Bhakti Yoga is all about facing the tests and the litmus test, the examinations, and how we are able to overcome all these things. So this 36,000 years, actually, it's just some allegoric example, which is the 100 years in the demigods in the higher planetary systems, and just 100 years as which is denoted as this many years. But again, at the same time, we also don't know how many lifetimes we have taken and come to this platform. We have taken so many lives, probably not 36,000, maybe 36 million, who knows. So this is all very much there. I mean, the time span is so huge, we cannot actually understand this concept. But it is very important that now we have come to this stage of understanding, and that 36,000 years also can be for a few years. It can be because we have seen so many devotees, especially those people who came in contact with Prabhupada. The initial, when Prabhupada started his movement, there are so many devotees who are all drug addicts, who are all drunkards, who didn't know anything head or tail of the Sanatana Dharma. And they all became devotees of the Lord. They all become exalted sannyasis, exalted devotees of the Lord. So how it is possible? So that's why another or Sampradaya Acharya Haridasa, he has composed one kirtan. In that he says, "Tiliyado ninnata, Tiliyado ninnata, Tirupatiya Venkata." He says, ಹೊಳೆವ ನೀರೊಳು ಗೆಲುವ ಮೋರೆಯ ನೆಲವ ನೋಡುವ ಸುಳಿವ ಕಂಬದಿ ಇಳೆಯ ನಳಿಯುವ ಬಳಿರೆ ಭಾರ್ಗವ ಖಳನ ಛೇದಿಸಿ ಕೊಳಲ ಧ್ವನಿಗೆ ನಳಿನ ಮುಖಿಯರ ನಾಚಿಸುವ ಬಲು ಹಯದಳದ ಬಹು ಹವಣೆಗಾರನೆ ತಿಳಿಯದೋ ನಿನ್ನಾಟ ತಿರುಪತಿ. So he says, he is actually glorifying the Dashavatara. He's saying, what all you are doing in shining waters, you appear as a fish. And then you are the Geluva More. You are having such a smiling face, and you are holding the whole universe, a big Mandara mountain, and you are smiling as a tortoise. And then in a pillar you appeared, and then you gave darshan to your devotees. So like that, you are doing so many havane. Havane in Kannada means there's so much of pavadas you are doing. Then he says, Aru ballaru ninna Shri Lakumiya manasige toradiha parabamma Ulidavaru ballare neerajasana bamma Idu ninna marma. So this is your marma. Who can understand your glories? Aru ballaru, who can understand? Shri Lakumi is there throughout, all throughout. She is serving you. She is always there. Not a single second she is away from you. But even she cannot understand. And then your son Brahma is there. He is all knowledgeable, all powerful, all creative energy. But even he cannot understand. So ulidavaru ballavare. Even other jivatmas or other devotees, can they understand you? So like this, now he is also glorifying. So this is the beautiful narration. So like that, we don't know. It's all this. Everything is happening to the supreme will of the Lord. He can give mercy in a second, and then he can take millions and millions of life for a devotee to get the salvation or the real Krishna bhakti. Like I remember in my first one of the first classes of when I attended our Guru Maharaj, Jayapatra Swami Guru Maharaj in Bahrain. So I was completely bewildered. How can this white-bodied American personality, and then he's having so much of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. We have not even heard of this. We don't know what the scripture is. Although we had some mantras and some ashtotaras, all that we used to chant, Vishnu Sahasranama, all that was there. But then he's talking out of the scriptures and telling shloka after shloka, memorized and shloka after shloka, and is able to understand Krishna. I was completely bewildered. My God. And we are all, coming from such a devotional family, born in a, Krishna conscious family, and we are not doing anything. This was the, game changer for me. And then I then got completely captivated by Guru Maharaj's presence and his personality and all that. So in that, he gave one story. I still remember that was probably in 2005 or 6. He gave the story of that, I think his name is Govinda Dasa. And this Govinda Dasa asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that when I will get liberated, when I will get really Krishna Bhakti. So Mahaprabhu, very coolly, he says that you will get after a few million years, maybe some 36 million years or some, I don't remember that. So like some million, after that million years, you will get Krishna Prema. Then Mukunda is the devotee. So then completely, we could see Maharaj's expression and the way he was, because he was that time very fit and energetic, and he burst out of the his Vyasasana, and then he said that, how Mukunda showed his expression and how he was so happy, thrilled that when he heard after this many million of years, then he will get Krishna Prema. So then this was something caught my imagination, caught me completely taken by my imagination out of stretch. That how the Lord devotee gets his real realization, and he gets the love of God, and he really completes his life cycle, or his goal is attained. So this is a classic example where somebody can take millions and millions of years, and where somebody can take a few seconds or a few hours or a few lifetimes, that they could get that bhakti. Hare Krishna. I hope I have answered, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Singing the Kruti of Kanakadasa, we could picturize the whole thing, Prabhu. Bhakta Kanakadasa, Rajkumar. So nice it was.
Yes, Haribol.
Ecstasy for a while. Thank you.
Haribol. So this, the last kirtan which I sang was written by Vyasa Vittala. Again, one of the Haridasa Madhya Sampradaya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for a wonderful class with beautiful singing of the Dasar Padam. Thank you.
Actually, that was your desire, so I fulfilled your desire by singing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So, we wish we could spend more time, but in the interest of time,
yes. Yeah,
weekday, so maybe we want to end here with Vaishnava Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare yeah.
Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna. I will end the Zoom session. We will meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.